Moving over to the bantamweight division now, we got former champion Cody Garbrandt coming in at plus 125, going up against Zhao Long, who comes in at minus 145. Now, Cody Garbrandt came up short against Raoni Barcelos last time around in a fight where he started off pretty hot. He was sticking and moving well. We were seeing some glimpses of old Cody Garbrandt with how good his striking normally looks. But then it seemed like he hit a wall in the second round and Barcelos was able to take over completely. Garbrandt had the speed advantage, but it seemed like I don't know if it was his gas tank, the fact that he was constantly having to move backwards, but Barcelos really started to take over in the second and third rounds. And even though we still saw some good takedown defense from Garbrandt, he just couldn't get to his success with the striking game, and that ultimately led to him losing that fight on the scorecards. Prior to that, he got submitted by Davis and Figueiredo at UFC 300. And the only guys he's really beating are the Trevin Jones and the Brian Kelleher's of the world. He is now, what's the record? He is 3-7 in his last 10 fights. And that is after defeating Dominic Cruz for the bantamweight title in December of 2016. That was one of the best championship performances we had ever seen, and there was a high ceiling for the potential of Garbrandt. A guy that was marketable, a guy that was fun to watch, a guy that would provide nasty knockouts, but he just ran into a wall. He got knocked out in back-to-back fights against TJ Dillashaw. There's so many fights where he just ended up coming up short. I think the lone win that he had outside of the Kelleher and Jones fight was the knockout victory over Rafael Sunsao, where he just kind of, juked him against the cage and landed that overhand right near the ending of the round. But he hasn't been able to show off that skill set all too often as of late. His chin has been a big liability. His cardio now seems to be a little bit of a liability, and he just doesn't seem to trust his chin anymore. And I think that's what's causing him to be more contained and a little bit more gun shy as we get into deeper water in fights. Now he's going up against Zhao Long, who may not be a big name, and a lot of people may be looking to fade this guy with a former champion, but he has a ton of experience. This is going to be his 38th professional fight, and this will be his third official UFC fight. Now, he came up short in the road to UFC finale against Chang Ho Lee in a very close split decision loss. That was a fight where you could just flip a coin and whoever won, you wouldn't be mad with it. A lot of jockeying for position in the grappling and clinch realm there between the two, and it seemed like they both had the same amount of success. Then Zhao Long eventually made his official UFC debut against Kwang Lee in a fight where he pretty much dictated the pace of the entire fight, walking Kwang Lee down, walking through Lee's flashy striking approach, landing big combinations, and eventually finding that third round finish. Unfortunately, he was unable to replicate that success against Su Young Yu last time out in another very close fight. I thought round one you could probably give to, I think it was round one you give to Yu. Round three, you give to Long, who was really coming on and, putting Yu on his back foot, landing his big shots, mixing in nasty elbows as well inside the clinch. But it really came down to round two, which was a very close round, which could have gone either way. Long is a guy that loves to bring that aggressive striking approach. He utilizes his hand movements a lot to try to hide his attacks, try to hide some feints as well. And after that, he throws a lot of big strikes as well. He's only 27 years old, which is crazy to think that he's coming into his 38th professional fight. But when you come up on the Chinese mixed martial arts scene, you're able to fight a lot more often than you can in the North American side of things because the sanctions and suspensions are not as stringent over there as they are in the North American side or even the European world. But I think that experience has helped him. The strength of schedule on the regional scene, not the highest, but getting those reps in, constantly going out there and fighting these, some of the tougher guys, especially later on in his career, is helping him be a little bit more successful in the UFC. Now, I feel like this should be somewhat of an easy fight for Zhao Long. This can be competitive early. I will give Garbrandt credit for the speed advantage he'll probably hold early in this fight. He could definitely land some big shots and maybe find a knockout, but by all accounts, Long's durability has looked pretty damn good. Long has not been knocked out in over 9 years, or nearly 9 years. And even then, I believe it was a TKO cut that got him that loss. But He's eaten some big shots in recent fights. He's been able to dictate the pace in a lot of fights. And I believe after a competitive first round, we're really going to see the Chinese fighters start to put it on Garbrandt. And I don't think that's where Garbrandt is all that comfortable. Being pushed back, I think we're going to see Garbrandt try to resort to some takedowns. I think Long's takedown defense is good enough to keep Garbrandt striking. And then from there, I think we just see Long start walking Garbrandt down. And I think that could even lead to a Long knockout victory, especially in deeper water. There are so many times where you can see Garbrandt looking up at the clock in the Barcelos fight, and I think that has to do with him just starting to slow down, starting to gas a little bit, and it's going to be hard for him to try to maintain his composure when he's fighting a guy as maniacal as Zhao Long. So he may not be the most famous guy. He may not be, have a great UFC record going 1-1 over his 2 official UFC matchups, but stylistically speaking, I think this is a bad matchup for Cody Garbrandt, a guy that I think is legitimately washed now. And I think we'll see that come to fruition here as Long knocks him out probably in the second or third round.